the world's most dangerous borders that nobody talks about. For centuries, maps have defined our world. Lines drawn on paper, sometimes by force, sometimes by negotiation, dictate who belongs where, who can cross and who can't. Most borders are mundane. A friendly sign, a customs checkpoint, a simple line in the sand. But beneath the surface of global perception, there are lines that bleed. Borders that whisper of forgotten conflicts, unresolved grievances, and the constant, simmering threat of violence. These are not the borders you see on primetime news. These are the world's most dangerous borders that nobody talks about. Beyond the headlines of familiar flashpoints lie territories where lines on a map are invisible scars on the land, separating communities, resources, and destinies. They are flashpoints simmering on the back burner of international awareness. Yet for those who live on either side, every single day is a tightrope walk on the edge of the abyss. This is a journey into those forgotten frontiers where danger isn't just a possibility, it's a way of life. When we think of dangerous borders, images of heavily fortified lines, bustling checkpoints, or war-torn divides often come to mind. North Korea, Israel, Palestine, the India-Pakistan line of control. These are crucial, undeniably volatile areas. But the true map of global tension is far more intricate, etched with forgotten disputes, ancient feuds, and geopolitical maneuvering that rarely capture the world's sustained attention. These silent dangers are often found in remote, resource-rich, or historically complex regions. They are borders that run through deserts, over towering mountains, across vast bodies of water, or even through the heart of unsuspecting communities. They are shaped by colonial legacies, ethnic divides, resource greed, and unresolved sovereignty claims. And while they may not spark daily headlines, their underlying tensions pose a constant, looming threat to regional, and sometimes global, stability. For the people who inhabit these borderlands, the danger isn't abstract. It's the ever-present threat of a sudden clash, the arbitrary loss of access to land or water, the daily struggle against smuggling and illicit activities, or the lingering fear of being caught between two powerful, unyielding claims. They are the unwitting sentinels of forgotten flashpoints, living lives defined by lines that the rest of the world has chosen to ignore. Today, we pull back the veil on these hidden battlegrounds. We will explore the history, the human cost, and the simmering potential for escalation along some of the world's most overlooked, yet intensely dangerous, borders. Our first stop takes us to the heart of Africa, to a land rich in oil but drenched in blood, the Abyei Administrative Area. This territory, roughly the size of Lebanon, sits like a raw wound on the border between Sudan and South Sudan, a scar left by a protracted civil war and a promise unkept. Abyei was designated a special administrative area in the 2005 Comprehensive Peace Agreement, CPA, that ended decades of civil war between Sudan and what would become South Sudan. A referendum was supposed to determine its ultimate fate, whether it would join the North or the newly independent South. But that referendum never happened. At the core of the dispute are two communities: the Ngok Dinka, who identify with South Sudan and are largely agrarian, and the Misriya Arabs, nomadic pastoralists who migrate through Abyei annually with their cattle, traditionally associating with Sudan. The border, to them, is not a fixed line but a fluid landscape of ancestral grazing routes and historical settlement. But beneath the soil lies the true prize: oil. The region holds significant reserves, making its political affiliation a matter of immense economic consequence for both cash-strapped nations. This resource wealth has fueled proxy conflicts, armed militias, and a cycle of intercommunal violence that peacekeepers struggle to contain. Despite the presence of a UN Interim Security Force, UNISFA, Abyei remains a volatile no-man's land. Clashes, cattle raiding, and revenge attacks are tragically common. Families are displaced, livelihoods destroyed, and the prospect of a lasting peace seems perpetually out of reach. For the people of Abyei, the border isn't just a political division. It's a daily struggle for survival, a constant reminder of promises broken and futures denied. The lack of an agreed border here means there's no clear authority, no stable governance. It's a vacuum where militias and armed groups thrive, and where the human cost of a seemingly abstract line becomes terrifyingly real. Abyei is a stark reminder that some borders, left undefined, become zones of perpetual conflict. From the African heat to the frosty expanse of the Pacific, our next dangerous border lies largely unnoticed by the world: the Kuril Islands dispute between Russia and Japan. This isn't a conflict of bullets, but of stubborn diplomatic deadlock and growing military muscle. The four southernmost islands of the Kuril chain, Eterofu, Kunashiri, Shikotan, and the Abyei Islets, are known in Japan as the Northern Territories. They were seized by Soviet forces in the final days of World War II, just after Japan's surrender. Russia considers them sovereign territory, part of its Sakhalin Oblast. Japan maintains they are an integral part of Hokkaido Prefecture, illegally occupied. This seemingly remote dispute has prevented Russia and Japan from signing a formal peace treaty since 1945. For decades, it simmered, largely a diplomatic issue. But in recent years, the temperature has risen. Russia has significantly beefed up its military presence on the islands, deploying advanced missile systems and expanding airfields. Japan views this as a direct threat. For Japanese fishermen, navigating the waters near the disputed islands is a constant tension. Incidents with Russian border guards are not uncommon, leading to arrests and fines. For former Japanese residents, forcibly removed after the war, the longing to return to their ancestral homes remains strong, fueling a deep-seated grievance. The danger here isn't an immediate ground war, but the risk of miscalculation in a highly militarized zone. With advanced weaponry, frequent military drills, and the close proximity of two major powers with unresolved historical wounds, any accidental escalation could have far-reaching consequences in a strategically vital region of the Pacific. It's a frozen conflict, but one with the potential to ignite. Our final journey takes us to the heart of Europe, to a border that doesn't officially exist, yet is guarded by soldiers and artillery. This is Transnistria, a narrow sliver of land on the eastern bank of the Dniester River, an unrecognized breakaway state that is, in all but name, a Russian satellite. Transnistria declared independence from Moldova in 1990, fearing that Moldova's growing nationalism and desire to reunite with Romania would threaten its largely Russian-speaking population. A brief but bloody war followed in 1992, which ended in a ceasefire mediated by Russia. Since then, Transnistria has functioned as a de facto independent entity, with its own government, currency, and military, heavily supported by Russia, including a contingent of Russian peacekeepers and soldiers stationed there. The border between Moldova and Transnistria is a tense and ambiguous one. There are checkpoints, customs posts, and armed patrols, but no international recognition. For Moldovan citizens, crossing into Transnistria can feel like entering a time warp, a relic of the Soviet era, complete with statues of Lenin and hammer and sickle flags. The danger here is a frozen conflict that could thaw at any moment. With the ongoing war in Ukraine, just a few hundred kilometers away, Transnistria's strategic importance has grown exponentially. Fears of a Russian push through Transnistria or internal destabilization are ever present. Any misstep, any provocation, could reignite a conflict that has simmered for over 3 decades. For the people of Transnistria and Moldova, this unrecognized border is a daily reality, impacting trade, travel, and personal freedoms. It's a stark reminder of how historical grievances, ethnic tensions, and external interference can create persistent, dangerous divides, even in the heart of a continent striving for unity. What common threads weave through these largely unspoken dangerous borders? Despite their diverse geographies and histories, patterns emerge that reveal the underlying causes of their volatility. Firstly, unresolved sovereignty and unclear demarcation. Whether it's a referendum that never happened in Abyei, a post-war land grab in the Kurils, or a unilateral secession in Transnistria, the absence of a universally accepted line is a constant source of tension. Ambiguity breeds insecurity. Secondly, resource competition. Oil in Abyei, fishing rights and potential undersea resources in the Kurils, natural wealth often lies beneath these contested lines, transforming abstract claims into high-stakes economic battles that nations are willing to fight for. Thirdly, ethnic and historical grievances. These borders often divide communities with deep-seated historical feuds or disparate ethnic identities. Colonial mapping, in particular, frequently disregarded existing social structures, leaving behind a legacy of fragmented peoples and simmering resentments. Fourthly, external interference and geopolitical rivalries. Powerful nations often have strategic interests in these border regions, providing military, political, or economic support to one side or the other, effectively prolonging the conflict and preventing peaceful resolution. The presence of peacekeepers, who are not truly neutral, can also exacerbate tensions. Finally, and perhaps most tragically, the human cost. For the millions living in these borderlands, the danger is not a distant policy debate. It's the ever-present threat of violence, displacement, limited opportunities, and a life lived in uncertainty. They are the unseen victims of lines drawn on maps, living precarious existences on the fringes of global awareness. The world is quick to focus on the major geopolitical hotspots, and rightly so. But by overlooking these less talked about dangerous borders, we risk allowing simmering tensions to boil over, destabilizing entire regions, and inflicting unimaginable suffering on millions of people. From the desolate plains of Abyei to the frigid islands of the North Pacific and the uneasy truce of Transnistria, these borders are more than just lines on a map. They are living scars, telling stories of unresolved history, competing ambitions, and the enduring human struggle for peace and security. It is crucial for international attention to extend beyond the headlines, to truly understand the complex, multifaceted dangers lurking along these forgotten frontiers. Because in our interconnected world, a spark in a remote borderland can ignite fires far beyond its immediate reach. Understanding these quiet dangers is the first step towards preventing the next big conflict. Which of these borders surprised you the most? Are there other dangerous borders you believe the world needs to talk about? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If this documentary opened your eyes to unseen dangers, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more explorations into the hidden complexities of our world.